Last night when I was thinking about this occasion, I thought, really, this is graduation season. And he's really graduated. I wanted to find a mortarboard hat for him, and one with a little tassel. And today I was going to have him, switch the tassel over, because he's made it through the major part. He's done the hard stuff. And now he can start doing what he wants to do when he wants to do it. So we're celebrating. It's always a good time to celebrate. Now, as it was indicated earlier, he took care of half this congregation, or probably more than half. And when he came to church, he even had to do a little doctoring on Sundays. I'd see him, including me, we'd huddle over, somebody pull him over, and, kind of continue the treatment. But he was always very good about it. I pulled him over this morning, but anyway. What we like to do now, I want you to remember what I said at first. I want you to think about the little saying, a doctor doesn't retire. He just loses his patience. So I want you to come up with something like that at the end of this program, and I'll call on you to do that. So right now, to continue acknowledging this milestone in his life, and Linda, we must say Linda, very good, Linda. You've done a good job. Okay. I'd like for the officers, Frank Thompson, who is chairperson of the trustee board, I'd like for him to come forward, and the officers of the other auxiliaries to say a word to Dr. Hall and his wife.
Thank you, Connie, for those words. When Reverend Rowland was speaking up here, he kind of stole my thunder a little bit, because he said some of the things that I was going to say. I've known the Hall family for a long time. I knew his uncle Gerald from the bank, and I knew Craig from coaching basketball up to Sumner, and I've known Dr. Hall for quite a few years here at First Baptist Church, and he has been a great member here at the church. He has supported me as being the chairman of the trustee board for the few years that I have held that position. And I've known a few doctors since I moved to Kansas City. I think I started with Dr. Herman Jones, the surgeon here. And when I used to go to his office, boy, he was so busy. He would rush you in and take care of you, and just like that, you hardly could even talk to him. And I went to a few other doctors here in the city. When I went to Dr. Hall's office, he was completely different. He was very patient with you. You could sit down, you could talk to him, you could ask him some dumb questions. I'm sure that's what he said. And he would take the time to answer any of those questions that you would ask him. And he never seemed to have been in a hurry rushing you out of his office. I got other patients to see, and I was very, very pleased in having him as a physician because of his patience his binder, and he was able to just sit down and counsel with you, answer any question that you were asked. And Reggie, I hope you have a lot of years in your retirement and you can travel and enjoy your time with your grandkids and all of that. And it's a pleasure to have known you. It's a pleasure to have had you as a physician. And I certainly hope you and your wife will continue your life together and enjoy everything. Thank you. And here's a card from the trustee board. We didn't get a chance to sign it, but
It's signed. Okay, Marie Thomas. And Renee Ellis. No.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you're enjoying this wonderful retirement. To Dr. Hall and Sister Linda, it's a pleasure for me to stand before you two this afternoon. In reference to your retiring, Dr. Hall, he's been a jewel in our community. He's been on a mission for a number of years helping people. And I would call that a mission. So he has done well. He has been humble. He's been patient. And he has very high integrity. I will ditto on the things that Brother Thompson said. You could ask him anything and he would try his best to answer it for you before he left, the person left out, without rushing you. He has been a jewel to our family members, my son, myself, and my mom. Of course, she's deceased now, but he is an excellent doctor. I always tease him when I see him every Sunday. I say, oh my gosh, what am I going to do, Dr. Hall? You're going. He said, you'll find somebody else. But we have a little token here that the deaconesses want to present you with this afternoon, a token of love. And we want you to take this token of love from the depths of our hearts, and we appreciate everything that you've done for us here at First Baptist and in your practice. God bless you. May He give you peace, joy, and love in your retiring.
Good afternoon. I'm Renee Ellis, who is the Deaconess Chair for First Baptist Church. This year that we have decided to carry out the theme of acknowledging members who have gone over and beyond with First Baptist Church and with the First Baptist Church members. And so needless to say that there was no second thought in not doing this today. I have to say that Dr. Hall and I have known each other since we were very small children. My oldest sister Cheryl, who is in Atlanta, she says, well, you need to take the pictures. I said, no, I gave Reggie our game pictures and told him, keep them put away. It has just been a pleasure to have him as a member of the congregation, and as you know, beside being a physician, that he has done so many other things at First Baptist Church. The other Sunday, he was actually fixing the podium, and one of the deaconesses was like, why is he over there in the corner? I said, yeah, he fixes other than people. Dr. Hall, we just wanted to say thank you for everything that you have done We also say then, we also know then always a sacrifice to Linda, because not only do you spend long hours at the office and you have retired, you cannot retire from us. And I'm not going to say what happened today. Some of you all know, but that's a testament to that. And that's always the joke between one of my sisters and I. Okay, Renee, you don't have to worry because Dr. Hall is here today. So I'm happy then that there's going to be many more times then that he's not working that Sunday. But I do say that I sincerely hope that as you started out your retirement that you will take more time for you and just to enjoy your family. And at this time, I'd like for all the deaconess to just stand for a moment and be recognized for this affair that we're having this afternoon. Again, I say thank you, and just know that another surprise will be to come.
Thank you, Renee. In just a minute, I'm going to ask for anyone from the audience to come up and say a word. 1 minute, please. I will say this. Reg took care of my dad, my mother, my husband, my son. He had his hands full. If he just stopped with those, he would have had enough. But he did take care of my family very well. What I'd like to do is call on any of you who would like to come up and say a word to Reg in his retirement. Valera.
Thank you. My name, I have several, Valera Richmond Jefferson. So I've known the Halls because we lived in the same community, and we all are products of First Baptist Church. And my younger sister, Brenda, is closer to your age than I am. At the same time, Linda and I are very close. And when I married the first time, Linda and Reggie took care of my only child, Arnett, while I was going to teach. And Reggie was in medical school. So we've always had a dear friendship and a love for one another. And on behalf of the Richmond family, we congratulate you. And I also put my gift and token in the box. Thank you.
While the next person is coming up, Dr. Fuller. Most of you may not know, but Reg is a part of the, or we are part of the Hall family through my husband's father. Yes, that's it. So every 2 years there's a Hall Porter family reunion, and which includes the Lindsays, because there was his father's grandmother who became a Lindsay before she was a Hall, so that's how we're connected. So yes. So I told him about his relatives. Every now and then I tell him, I say, you know, you have a crazy gene running. Dr. Fuller.
Good afternoon. I started not to get up, but I had to get up. Dr. Hall and I practiced together for about 25 years, and probably he's been my doctor now for several years. I retired in August. I shouldn't have told him that because I think he got jealous of me and retired too. So now I'm in the process of looking for a doctor for myself. So that was a dirty trick he pulled on me. But Dr. Hall and I, at all the years we practiced medicine together, never had a fight about nothing. All the business transaction and whatever we did, we were able to sit down and solve our problem. Never had a big fallout. That's a hard thing to do for 25 years with someone. But that's the kind of relationship we've always had. He's always been like a brother to me. And we've always treated each other that way. And I hate to see him retire, but everybody has to at some point. You have to retire. And that's what I had to get across to my patient when I retired. Nobody liked to see the doctor retire, but the doctor has to retire too, just like the rest of you. And I know he's going to have a good time spoiling those grandkids. I ask him about them all the time. I know that's all he's doing is spoiling his grandkids. Unfortunately, those polar grandkids don't have a chance with you around. But it's been a wonderful relationship with Dr. Hall. He's been an excellent physician in the community. You all know that. And just been a wonderful person to have around. So I hope he stays around for a while, and we'll be able to develop some type of relationship. I'm going to call on him for some other projects we got going on, so he's not getting totally away from me. So there are some things that we still can do together. So I want you to support him and keep working with him, and I'm sure with the prayers, he will keep working and doing the best he can with you. Thank you very much.
Speaking of continuing to work, Dr. Gray, I have a little story I'm going to tell you about Reg in a few minutes, Dr. Gray. This is my doctor.
Good afternoon. You know, it's been a pleasure working with Reggie, and I think it's probably been about 10 years. 11 years. He has such a calm spirit about him, you know, very easygoing. Nothing bothers him or gets in the way, and he takes it all in stride, you know. Patients love him, you know. They tell me now, they get in the room and they talk about anything and everything, you know. So they've become a part of his family and a friend. Basically, not only patients, but a friend, you know. And sometimes as a physician, we feel that we're psychologists, we're lawyers, we're social workers, you know, we're all of that, you know. And so it's a pleasure, and I'm sure it's been a pleasure for him to serve you all, serve the community and his church. And I know he loves his church because he told me that he is a trustee here, and I told him, you know, I'm a trustee too, you know. So I said we have that in common. But one thing that I don't think a lot of you all know that I just recently found out about Reggie is that he's a movie buff. I mean, he knows everything about movies. And you ask him any trivia about movies, he knows. And he goes to the movies, he can name actors, he can name the movies, etc. And I'm just like, wow. And one other thing you probably don't know, he's a jazz lover. He loves jazz music. And I want to thank him. He told me about an artist that was going to the Gym Theater. I forgot his name, and me and my husband went, and we were like, wow, he was outstanding. So if you ever want to know anything about jazz artists and trivia about jazz artists, he knows that too. So in other words, he's a gem in the rough. You really just don't know how special he is and how talented he is and how knowledgeable he is. So Reggie, we truly are going to miss him at MMPG, and it's been a pleasure, and we love him and wish him the best in his retirement.
Someone else? Tony?
We're going to triple team you. Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Hall, Mrs. Hall, we are the Ewing Jackson family. This is our home church. I guess you could say our family's home church. But we're here to talk about Dr. Hall, and they always put me in the middle so I can talk. Oh, good job. Just saying. But anyway, we just want to say, like so many of you already have, it's that Dr. Hall has taken care of basically our whole family. Dr. Fuller took care of my dad, and then when he wasn't available, Dr. Hall took care of my dad, took care of my mommy, and because he had taken care of our parents, he knew what to do for me. That is so important because he had that history. He has known me since I was just way younger than I am now, I'll put it that way. He's taken care of my brother, and then my husband, who had never been to the doctor like ever. He started, I talked him into coming to see you, and he's like, that's the best doctor I ever met. I just want to say it's wonderful that you had time for us. If we were worried, if we were sad, you know, after Mom passed, you took that little extra time with me to see how we were doing, see how Calvin was doing. You never failed to ask how our folks were. You asked about Aunt Gladys. It was just like, even though you were a doctor, you were our family. And so we just want to honor you and thank you for everything you've done in our community, the dad ball, just things at the church. And if we see you out, you never like act like you don't know us. It's always like, how are you doing? And I say that because some people are not real. You are a genuine person, and for that, we appreciate you and we honor you. Thank you very much.
And I don't have anything else to add. Well, no, just one thing. Dr. Hall and I, we're contemporaries. We grew up, and I think we probably got baptized in his church right about the same time. And he, like my sister said, he's been like family. He's been our doctor. So, Dr. Fuller, we feel your pain. They looking for a doctor too. Yeah. But enjoy your retirement, Dr. Reggie. We appreciate you. We love you.
Dr. Hall, I would just like to thank you for being my physician. He has been my physician for several years and has taken very good care of me. And I appreciate everything that you have done, and I hope that you enjoy your retirement. And I'm glad you're taking it early because I retired early, and I know you will enjoy it. And I hope you and your wife enjoy your retirement. Thank you.
I'm going to be short and sweet because I'm the crybaby in the bunch. And on behalf of the Dozier family, I just want to say thank you. But I think I'm the one still in denial and revolt under this whole situation here. My doctor does deserve to retire. He has been a wonderful doctor, as you say. But I'm still in denial. But you know what? I do want you to enjoy the grandkids and all the things that you do. But on behalf of the Dozier family, thank you for all that you've done for us.
Dr. Hall is not my doctor, but he is my church member. And so it says that don't simply retire from something. but have something to retire to. And I know you will. But I want to thank you for your service to the community and the service to this city. And so if John was here, this is what he would say, what Jonathan Clemens say. It says, retirement is like a long vacation in Las Vegas. The goal is to enjoy it the fullest, but not too fully that you run out of money.
I wasn't going to say anything, Reggie, but I had to say something. Reggie and I go way back. Our parents all came from Shreveport, Louisiana. My mom and his family were friends, and Reggie became my family's doctor, my mother's doctor, my brother's doctor. And everybody says Reggie has such a calm spirit. And the thing that impressed me was when I took my godmother to the doctor, and he was trying to get her mind settled with her condition. And, you know, he told her, he said, well, have you prayed about it? And that impressed me because I've only been to 2 doctors. And one was for me and one was for my godmother. And they said, well, have you prayed about it? And then my doctor asked me, can I pray with you? And when a doctor, you know, goes beyond his medical practice and he can intersperse his spiritual practice into that, that says a lot about that person. And Reggie, I tell you, he feels like a little brother to me. He is a little brother because he's younger than me, but he feels like a little brother to me because I've been able to watch him grow up. And I tell him all the time, I said, I know your mom would be so proud of you and the man that you've become, because he's never changed. He's been Reggie all of his life. When he got his doctorate and became a doctor, he's still Reggie. And I just want you to know that me and my family love you, and I just respect and admire you and Linda, and we get to talk about our grandbabies. And I got to ride up to Chicago with them to see Deacon Miller's family. And man, they took me on a trip. We were supposed to be riding to Chicago together, and we got to go to Tom Sawyer's home and Linda Ball lunch, and it was just like we were on vacation. But both of them are just warm and loving people, and I just want you to know that I appreciate you, and all of First Baptist appreciates you, and congratulations on your retirement.
I'm going to be real quick, and I'm going to say this on behalf of my husband. A lot of people don't even know I have one, but I do. So Reggie knows, out of 46 years, my husband, I did get him to the doctor, and he loved him some Reggie. He would always go to, when I go to Reggie. So anyway, we went to Reggie last year, and my husband had some habits that kept his health out of sorts. And we went in, and Reggie had sent him to get some tests done, and all of them were out of whack. I've never seen Reggie get to a pace where he's running. And he goes out of the office, he comes back. He looks at his records again, and he says, Mr. Brown, everything's out of whack here. Now, let me tell you this. I will have to take off if you want me to come to your funeral. And I want y'all to know that that's a testament. My husband has not drank since that day. And it's a blessing because he's drank every day since before we got married at the age of 18. And I thank Dr. Hall. He thanks Dr. Hall. Our family thank Dr. Hall and Linda. I mean, I've had my illnesses, and I don't even go to Dr. Hall. I call Linda. I say, Linda, I got this going on. Can you get the doctor? Linda said, okay. And he called me back. And he calmed my nerves, and he said, Dorothy, I don't believe it's that. Try this. And I just thank you for that.
Did you want to say something? Okay, all right.
That's what happens when you get to be an old young man. to Dr. Hall and to the congregation, our pastor. Dr. Hall was my wife's doctor. And Dr. Hall, when I suggest to her to go to you, she said, well, why aren't you going? I said, well, if you go to one and I go to another, we can get different opinions. And I just happened to have gone to the good Dr. Fuller. But Dr. Hall we came into each other's life, I guess, in 1957 when I came to Kansas City. I knew your granddad, got a chance to know him. Granddad, of course, they lived right behind the bank. Got to know Craig and Gerald Hall. And I got to know your father. We had a special, and of course, your beautiful mother, who had an outgoing and, of course, had a beautiful voice. But Dr. Hall, all of the kindness that they have expressed about you, I have seen all of that. And I've had kids at church to ask me, why does Dr. Hall come to church like that? And I told one young man, I said, well, Dr. Hall must be a believer, young man, because with all of the people that he deals with, he deals with people who practice, he's got a problem. And his calmness is one of the things that helps settle that. The other thing that impressed me about Dr. Reggie, you knew I wanted to say Reggie, but I'm going to use your title because I want to give you the respect. I have appreciated that Dr. Hall has been consistent with his workload and how he deals with the obligation we share here at the church. That is, being officers and serving the people. So he's not only serving them in the medical field, but it serves in the way of developing character. The other thing that impressed me mostly is your wife came to me one day in our conversation and said that she had been invited to go visit his patients with him. Now that to me, you know, and the reason it's so important for me, and I think most people here know, is that I believe that a man owes his wife as much as he can ever give in love and support. And that really gave me a lift in my way of thinking about relationships with a man and his wife. So Dr. Hall, step on out there now. On the 25th of this month, I have 26 years of retirement. But the person that I replaced here at the church, Mr. Clark, used to tell me, Leon, when you retire, don't sit down and do nothing. So my pastor gave me this button, and I can say I appreciate it, but sit down and keep on doing something. So congratulations, and may the Holy Spirit still dwell with you and your family.
Now, he's going to keep on doing something because I have something for him to do. Now, he is, in addition to being on the trustee board, vice chairman of the trustee board, as a matter of fact, and co-chair of the property management committee. And I'm the other co-chair of the property management committee. So about a couple of years ago, when all of this happened, he became co-chair, and there he was trying to take care of 3/4 of the congregation in his medical practice, and then do all this stuff around the church, and it was tough. So one day in trustee meeting, I volunteered to be his co-chair. And I thought, I can do a lot of the stuff that he can't do, and he can continue to take care of the folks. So I've been doing these things, and I've tried to keep him informed as to what was going on and all of that. But I do this, and as you know, this building was built in 1921, and so there's always maintenance problems and a whole lot of stuff going on. And I noticed during one occasion when we were getting ready for a convention to meet here, Reg participated. He had tools and drills and things, and I mean, good gosh, he was drilling and installing things and painting and going on. And I thought, okay. So the other day, and I didn't bother him when he said, when I knew it was his last day to retire, didn't bother him. I said, I'll give him a week or two, because I knew Linda had a few things for him to do. So I waited. And it was his good fortune, now he won't say the same thing, it was his good fortune a few Saturdays ago that I decided to come over to the church to look around some things. And he was in his car getting ready to leave. He thought. I waved him down. He got out. I said, "You got a minute or so?" And he kind of hesitated. He kind of said, what? I said, "Come on in." I said, "Just a few things I want to show you." 2 hours later, I had given him the full tour of the building once again, all of the things that were wrong, all of the things we need to do. We have a 5-year plan, but then there are those more immediate things that you have to do. So now that he is, his time is freer, except for what Linda wants him to do. The other day I said, "Oh, by the way," I said, "we need to get the window frames painted on the exterior of the church, especially the stained glass windows." And I said, I have a list of commercial painters that I put together. I said, "Here," I said, "you can have this project." So what I did, I was thinking about this the other day. When you start meeting with contractors and all of that, which you'll be doing a lot of, anyway, you need a little, a different business card. Not that old doctor business card. But you need a different one. So I made you a starter kit. It says, Reginald Hall, retired MD. Okay. It gives your telephone number and your email. It gives your cell phone number because you want to always be available to the contractors. Okay. And then on the back, I put a sticker. This is First Baptist Church, and it gives the number and the email and all of that. And this is a small starter set, Reg. And when you run out, it's on my computer, and I can make more for you. Okay? So, and keep those handy, because, see, and that'll keep you from right quick, like, oh, you want my number? Yeah, because, that's right. You're quite welcome. And this is just a little thank you card I have, from my family, but I am just so elated that we are going to be working together. With that, we have a presentation from the Deaconess Board, and I want to ask right quick before that presentation, and after that presentation I'm going to ask the pastor to come to dismiss us. But okay, did anybody come up with A doctor does not retire. He just loses patience. That was mine. You have to come up with another one. Any others? Oh, folks, please. Okay. Renee?
Before I make the presentation, I just want to share one thing with you. We grew up on Washington Boulevard, and there were always big places there in the sidewalk where it just seemed to crack, and when we would get a little bit too rambunctious, somebody was falling or riding their bicycle a little bit too fast, and boom. And at one point then, that when somebody kind of went over the bike, and the rest of us like, oh my God, and Reggie came up, well, let me see. So at a very young age, he was destined to be who he is today. I would like to, from the Deaconess Board, say to Linda Hall that we thank you for sharing your husband with us. And then we, the Deaconess, just wanted to do a little small presentation to you to say thank you. And thinking of flowers as being the stars of earth, we present this to you.
Reg, is there anything you'd like to say?
Most of you all know how quiet I am.
All right,
No, that's okay. It's broken. We've got to get it out.
Okay. It's just them down.
Yeah.
As I was saying, I'm fairly quiet. Everybody knows I'm low-keyed. And when Sister Carswell came and suggested that we might have this reception, when she told me that we were going to have this reception, I tried to discourage it. I really didn't feel it was necessary because I felt like I've been honored for a long time. When you get older, you start thinking about the things in your life and your experiences, and not just when you get ready to retire, but things you've been thinking about and the influences of people and institutions on you. And I was thinking about my relationship with First Baptist Church, saying just grew up a lot from the church, 3 houses up from the Randolph family, lived there till I was about 10. But around 7 years, at age 7 or something like that, started coming to church with the Randolphs, came on our own. Most of you, or a lot of you may know my family church, where my grandparents, my aunts and uncles and cousins, it was First AME. But there was a brief period of time when my parents weren't going there regularly when we lived on Washington. But they allowed us to come on up. They encouraged us to come on up to First Baptist. And then back in the day, when we had when there was church school, attended church school here at First Baptist. Those of us that went to Grant Elementary, we walked up 5th Street and we'd come to church school. The ladies that taught us those things, were invaluable. When I was about 10, we moved away from Washington and moved out from 5th and Washington to 43rd and Washington, but that was a long way. but still I was able to come to church regularly because the family across the street from me was the Russell family and their children, Inez and Charles Russell Sr. Mr. Russell, I always consider as my second father. He brought me to church. I think it was really important for getting me to the point where I got baptized. He was my baseball coach. He was just a lot of things to me, and he made that possible. He was also, because of his premature death, was very inspirational and was crystallized my motivation to become a doctor. There were a couple of people that really, well, a lot of people influenced me. But as I was thinking about it, I said, since I lost the battle of wills and wasn't able to talk to Ms. Carswell out of the reception, that I was going to take the opportunity to say a few things. And I'm a pretty quiet person. I kind of inherited and learned some of that. That was my father's way. He was a man of few words, but he was well respected by his family and his friends and his church. And he would always remember saying to me, he said, look, I won't be able to give you a lot of money, but I'll give you a good name. Amen. He said, don't shame it, uphold it. And I remember that greatly. And my maternal grandmother, Nancy Wynn, I always remember things that she said, and those two things kind of influenced greatly the kind of person I became. She said, be nice to people. Be nice to people, and they'll be nice to you. She said, it's easy to be nice to nice people. And I've always remembered that and tried to do that. When you have been privileged enough to been asked to take care of or take a part in the health care of friends and family and their parents or so, to me that was an honor already. That's why I tried to talk her out of this. I feel I have been honored because I have been asked to do those things. There are folks that have kind of adopted me into their family, and I appreciate that so much. The church and a number of ladies, Miss Doreen Yates, and Leola Turner, Miss Brashears, Miss Lennis Wilson, my Sunday school teacher, and all these ladies, and my junior church teacher. Their impact on me is not quantifiable in my measure. They re-emphasize or reinforce some things that I was taught at home, and they re-emphasize the quiet faithfulness and spirituality and a decorum in public and church, and I appreciate that greatly as an adult, and I appreciate those ladies a great deal, and I've appreciated the prayers that I have gotten from this church since growing up and going to college, and we all have difficult times in college, and we always, when someone says, I'm praying for you to do well, you remember that. And when we all have times of good times, times of health crises or losses, those prayers are very, very important, and they mean a lot. And they mean a lot to me. And if I were to try to thank everybody individually that have prayed for me, I'm sure I would leave out folks, so I won't try to do that. I see that one lady has left, but I really have to recognize to her that, and that's Miss Louise Brown. She has prayed for me very personally and sent some great cards that I cherish and I they have made a big difference in getting me through time. So we'll say that about her. But my church family, I appreciate you. I appreciate this recognition. I do have to not last, but thank and say that I'm appreciative of my wife putting up with me for almost 45 years. Putting up with the calls and interruptions of sleep at midnight and not fussing about that, and being strong and independent and not and being able to do things even when I wasn't there, and not complain, but most importantly, loving me and nurturing my children. I appreciate that so much. I thank you all for this reception. And again, thank you so much. And thank you, my First Baptist, my church family. Appreciate it.
Let us stand, let us stand, let us stand. I was sitting there, Dr. Law and Sister Freeman and Miss Lindsay and Miss Marie and all you First Baptists, and I was just sitting there and saying, you know what, Lord, there is so much that has happened here. The type of congregation that is supportive of so many, and to only been part of it for a fraction of this church history, it's an honor. God did some amazing things over here. Well, I'm a product of it because that's my mama. But he just did an amazing thing here at this church with so many of you. And it's just a tribute to what God has done. I know y'all don't want me to say no more, but I just had to share that with you. Just God's amazing, y'all. He truly is amazing. Man. Right out of 5th and Washington. And all these other little 5th Streets and all the other little things. God is great. To this beautiful family and to Dr. Hall and Sister Linda Hall, to all the other doctors and Dr. Gray and all who are here today, and to the Deaconess Board, thank you for this recognition. It's just awesome. And as we make ready to go, let us just honor God and what God has done in our lives. Father God in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to be responsive first to you as you planted the seed in the minds of the Deaconess Board. And as a result of that, Lord, this great opportunity to honor your son and to give him an opportunity to reflect and to share how awesome you are. This day had been already ordained by you. It had already been etched into your plan. And thank you, God, that we were responsive to it. Now, Lord, as we make ready to go this afternoon, as we gather ourselves together, as we've dined and chatted, let us continue to say thank you. Thank you for this great man, God, from whom earliest in his mother's womb, you planted the seed of healing hands. Thank you for all that he went through and all the patience and everything. Lord, I just want to tell you, thank you for Dr. Reginald Hall. God, you just are something. And to all the other doctors who are here, to Gray as well, as tend to us and to try to keep us healthy. And to the testimony of Sister Dorothy Brown and the impact that they have in our lives. You are just an awesome, awesome, awesome God. Now, thank you now for what you've asked us to do in terms of our commitment to you. Bless this family, bless the grandkids, bless this new business cards. And let them find their way all over Wyandotte County. And Sister Lindsay will find all of hers and pull them all back. And thank you now for his service to your church. Now give us traveling grace as we gather ourselves together and pile ourselves into these great big cars And whether the distance is short or long, your traveling mercies is extended to each of us. Thank you now. In the glorious, righteous name of the one we serve. And all of God's people said, Jesus, 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 Jesus. Jesus. Amen.
Carry out.